How's it going, everybody? I am the Texas Man. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys have not already. And also do me the biggest favor of all, hit that bell notification button so you guys do not miss out on a single video coming out in the future here on the Texas Man channel. With that, I'm going to be going through a list that a lot of people have been requesting for me to do on this channel. So here it is. This is my list of the top 10 Star Wars characters ever and my reasonings as to why. Now, this list honestly was extremely difficult for me to make because there's a lot of Star Wars characters out there in the Star Wars universe. And I really struggled narrowing it down to 10. I wanted to do a 15 or 20 type of video. But thankfully I was able to narrow it down to my top 10. I apologize if there is a Star Wars character that is not on this list. So, I know there's more than 10, so don't get mad at me. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with me on this list down in the comment section down below. So these are going to be in order. I'm going to start from the worst to the top. So I'm going to start at number 10 and then work my way to what I believe is the best Star Wars character. And most of you probably will know who this is for the very top spot. And if you don't, I will explain as to why. So at number 10, we're going to start with Ezra Bridger. He's a character that is introduced in the Star Wars Rebels TV show. And he starts off as being a Lothal street rat, and he ends up becoming a Jedi. And he falls in love with a Mandalorian called Sabine Wren. And he even has the ability, when he's fully capable as a Jedi, he has the ability to access a time travel room, and it allows him to rescue Ahsoka Tano from her duel with Darth Vader at the end of Season 2 of Rebels. And we also get to watch the beginning parts and the blueprints of the rebellion come together in sorts through his eyes. We get to see the rebellion work from the ground up, starting with Ezra Bridger. If it wasn't for Ezra Bridger, the rebellion may or may not have begun. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Jyn Erso with Rogue One and everything, that was amazing. I'm like, those events that take place in Rogue One would not have been possible if it wasn't for Ezra Bridger and the rest of the Ghost crew that we see in Rebels. Number 9, Mace Windu. So, yes, I love Mace Windu as a character. Not as much as everyone else on this list, but I thought I had to include him in this list. He's an extremely wise Jedi, and he's very strategic. He does a lot of processing and thinking. When he's doing this, or this, or it reminds me of a family member that just sits there and processes all the possible outcomes of whatever someone's actions are, including his own. Plus, I mean, Samuel L. Jackson gets a purple lightsaber. How cool is that? And he ends up almost killing, the Emperor. So that was pretty cool. Number 8, Darth Maul. I don't think you guys need much explaining as to why Darth Maul is such a cool character and why he's on this list. I mean, he is the only Star Wars character in the movies and in the TV shows that gets a double-bladed lightsaber. And no, I'm not counting the Rogue Jedi that was in Clone Wars Season 4, because technically he is a Sith. So, and a lot of people haven't seen that. So, I'm keeping it as Darth Maul is basically the only person. Number 7, General Grievous. I had a really difficult time figuring out where I was going to put General Grievous and Darth Vader. I kind of like General Grievous a little more, but I like Darth Vader the more I was thinking about placing these two villains. I like Darth Vader a little more because he has more character backstory. With General Grievous, he's really cool, and all the hello there's are going to show up, I'm sure, in the comment section. But the first time I saw General Grievous, I'm like, oh, sweet, a Sith-like robot general with 2 arms, with 2 lightsabers, let's go. And then when he breaks out and you see that he has 4 arms on the planet Utapau, I was like, oh, shit. General Grievous may actually kill General Kenobi, or at least do something to him that's going to scar him for his life. And I was like, oh yes. The problem with General Grievous, and as to why I don't think he's better than Darth Vader, is you only get to see him in Revenge of the Sith. You only get to see him in one movie, and it's for only a few scenes. You don't know his backstory in the movie. You don't understand why he is the general of the droid army. He's just the general of the droid army. So the backstory isn't there unless you watch Clone Wars and you read the expanded lore. General Grievous is just a cool character at that point. Number 6, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's an extremely wise Jedi. He thinks about how he's going to attack. He's always strategizing. But he doesn't hesitate as much as Mace Windu when it comes to attacking. Obi-Wan's like, okay, I know what needs to be done. I'm going to do it. Number 5, Darth Vader. I mean, he has the best tragic backstory from becoming Anakin to Darth Vader. And he's also just extremely terrifying to fight. Number 4, the mastermind himself of all of Star Wars, Emperor Palpatine. He's the mastermind of all 9 episodes. And, you know, what's really cool, I think, is how in the prequels it shows you how he took his time grabbing power and making it where he became Chancellor and then he became Emperor. Number 3, everyone's favorite green little guy, Master Yoda. I mean, he's wise, he's funny, and when we see him fight with his lightsaber, you know, when he's in combat in Attack of the Clones and in Revenge of the Sith, he's just all over the place. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog turned up to 11. It's really cool and extremely deadly. Number 2, I know for a fact most of you guys should know these top 2 characters because they're from the Clone Wars show. Asajj Ventress. She goes from being a little kid being trained as a Jedi. The Sith end up killing her Jedi Master, so she ends up becoming a Sith assassin and being trained by Count Dooku. And then the Clone Wars happened and Dooku betrays her, and Asajj Ventress ends up becoming a bounty hunter and working with people like Boba Fett on certain jobs. And then at the end of her story, she ends up converting all the way back to becoming a Jedi bounty hunter of sorts and helping people in need while the actual Jedi are fighting the war, which is pretty cool. And then my top favorite Star Wars character, you guys have to know who this is. It's Ahsoka Tano. So a lot of people I know will not agree with me on this specific person being in this list. But I remember watching Clone Wars. I didn't have cable at the time when Clone Wars started. So I would go over to a friend's house that did have cable, and I would spend the night every single Friday night when a new Clone Wars was going to air Saturday morning. And so I would bring over my homework, do all my homework at my friend's house. We would play Godzilla on the GameCube, and then Saturday morning, all of us would watch, you know, the half an hour to an hour, depending if they were showing 1 or 2 episodes of Clone Wars Saturday morning. And it was so cool watching the Clone Wars from the beginning opening movie and then the beginning of season 1 all the way through the end of season 5, and then they brought it back for season 6 and 7, of course, but when George Lucas was still in control of only seasons 1 through 5. And it was so cool to watch the Clone Wars through Ahsoka's eyes. I mean, Ahsoka starts the show as a little kid, and I was a little kid about her age when it started, 12, 13, 14, or whatever, and growing up with Ahsoka was like me growing up with the show also. And it's just one of those memories that I always have fond moments, memories, going over to my friend's house and doing that. And that's just something a lot of shows don't have the ability to do. Like, I know for a fact there's kids that grew up with those 4 seasons of Rebels. Those 4 years, they grew up with Ahsoka, Kanan, and Sabine and characters like that. I grew up watching the Clone Wars begin and come to a near conclusion, and hopefully we will see the conclusion of the Clone Wars with season 7 through Ahsoka's eyes. And we get to grow up with her and grow up with her. And it's just really cool to see that. Also, Ahsoka Tano, she doesn't need lightsabers as we're seeing in the final season of Clone Wars. She doesn't need lightsabers to win battles. Her hand-to-hand combat is amazing. Her ability to use the Force and to be wise and to think before she attacks is also on display in the early seasons of the Clone Wars, and we see her master those powers and master her wisdom. So that is why I enjoy Ahsoka Tano. So I know some of you may agree or disagree with me, not only with Ahsoka, but the other 9 characters that are on this list. This is my personal opinion. You're more than welcome to yours. I would like to know what you guys thought of this list video down in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree or disagree with me? With that, you guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you guys on the next video and or live stream. Bye, guys.